What's good, my tribe? This is day 85 of the 90-day YouTube challenge. Yesterday I spoke a little bit about being out of the flow. I've been kind of feeling like my practice, my discipline has lost its vigor. And what kind of came through and what has been apparent in my life, at least in this moment, has been this need to really connect with the masculine, the firm, disciplined self, the one that is stern in its implementation of discipline and staying focused. I think I've just been a little bit too lenient with myself, getting a little bit too comfortable with the life that I live. Being able to kind of make my own schedule, or at least most of it, and with all the blessings that comes with that. It also comes with an even more responsibility and a need to stay organized. So I think a lot of that has been just not as pronounced lately in my own life. So this was kind of brought about by recalling a conversation that I had recently with one of my roommates here, who was talking about an alchemical practice. And this is something that I've read in some of the alchemical texts, especially in Taoist alchemy, is this this practice of just like identifying both the masculine and the feminine parts of yourself, the aspects. We often hear about this, and we often know, like, oh yeah, the feminine tends to be more compassionate, more receptive, more open, more creative, and then the masculine tends to be more focused, more logical, more organized, in a sense. So the practice, we understand these archetypes. It's in all of us. But how often do we really think about what part of ourself is that organized, that logical, that masculine force, and what is the feminine aspect of ourself personally? So how does it manifest? How do each of these energies manifest in your own life? And for me, the masculine has always been about logical thinking, staying organized. Organization is something that, believe it or not, actually stemmed from my mother. But for me, it's a masculine trait, being able to compartmentalize and separate different things and organize so that everything is clear. For me, that's a sign of the masculine energy within me. And so whenever I keep my schedule, whenever I'm going into my planner, seeing what I need to do, writing down my to-do lists, and organizing and structuring my practice, for me, that's the masculine energy kind of coming in and saying, like, look, this is how we're going to discipline and organize our energy here. And I've noticed that that's been lacking lately. I need to get back into that planning mode, that sort of stern discipline. There's like a voice in my head that will sometimes kind of just appear. It's not necessarily critical, but it's like, hey, like, you need to do this, like, focus on that, don't worry about that. And it's a very directing kind of voice, in a sense. So I've been neglecting that, in a sense. I think this is actually, I don't want to say it's like a reflection of what is going on in the collective. I think it's easy to just say, like, oh, I'm just reflecting on something that's happening in the collective. I do think there is a correspondence, and I think the correspondence, or the need, is to properly identify as well as relate to the masculine energy. We often hear in healing circles and just in general, woke culture, talking about the divine feminine, which is beautiful. I am all for it. I am all for feminine energy and everything that is associated with it. But I also, feel like we have sort of sacrificed or lost our sense of what the proper relationship to the masculine is. So in alchemy, yeah, it's always about balancing both. It's not that the feminine is more powerful than the masculine, or the masculine is more powerful than the feminine. It's always about, like, how do we marry these two forces? How do we balance them? How do we feed one into the other and the other into the first? How do we create a harmonious exchange between these two so that we can get into the flow? Because whenever, how do we get into the flow in the first place? We have both the masculine and the feminine, the left and right sides of the hemisphere, working together as one. So in order to do that, sometimes we need to identify where the weakness or the lack of energy flow is. And so that's what kind of, I guess, influenced me or got me talking and thinking about this, and why I haven't been in the productive flow lately. So hopefully that was clear, and I hope that is helpful for whoever is watching. Just as a general practice, just kind of going in and identifying what that masculine energy feels like within yourself, what that feminine energy feels like within yourself, being able to identify the two, and then being able to marry the two, either in your imagination or through your actions or whatever. That's always the alchemical key. So thank you all for listening. As always, with love and light, may peace be with you.